Hello and welcome back to the Green Workbench. This is not a how-to video. I just want to talk to you a little bit about our experience raising pigs this summer. First time, newbies, first time we've ever raised our own meat, had pigs or anything, so a lot of learning went into it. Do a lot of things differently the next time, so I just want to talk to you through kind of what we did. So first of all, we got these pigs back in, I think it was April, and they were 7 to 9 weeks old. So we've raised them from just little guys. So initially, when we built this pen, it was the perfect size for small pigs. This Livestock Fencing here we got in a trade. We let someone use our pasture for their horses for a couple months, and in trade they gave us some fencing. So I tried to go as cheap as possible. That was kind of the idea. So I set up the corner of this corral made a pen with that fencing, but then also got some mesh fencing to fill it in. Found out really fast that this mesh fencing was not going to stop them. I did not dig down and plant it under the ground, which was a mistake. So actually what I ended up doing, and I don't know that you'll be able to see them, but when they were small and they started digging, I don't think you can see any of them from here, but essentially I took planting bamboo stakes that you would use to hold up a vine or something in your garden, and I staked around the pen where they like to dig. So basically there were like bars going 12 inches into the ground, and that worked for a little bit while I tried to figure out what to do next. Once they got big enough, they would just bite those things in half and pull them out of the ground. And so I knew I needed to do something a little more permanent. And again, I was still trying to save money. So I had a bunch of blocks, landscaping blocks and bricks and stuff sitting around. So I used those to kind of border around the outside so it'd be harder to dig under. But even those, after a while, you can imagine, weren't enough. And they were just temporary anyway, I knew they were. And so ultimately I decided that it wasn't worth it trying to go too cheap, so I ended up buying an electric fence. That was quite the experience, trying to install an electric fence on the inside of a pen with pigs in the pen. Not something I would recommend. I'd recommend, if you are okay with electric, to do it before you get your animals. Seems pretty obvious, but you know. So a probably 1 hour job took about 4, with the pigs constantly trying to eat at the string and pull up the orange stakes as I was putting it in, but I got it all in. And that's actually worked beautifully. Ever since I got that in, I've had no issues with them trying to get out. Another big thing I've learned, though, with how efficient and easy and actually cheap the electric fencing is once you get the initial kind of the initial expenditure, is next time I'm just going to line the entire pasture and let them roam in the pasture, because really this pen is too small for them. You know, they've lived a good life, fed well, they've been comfortable, but I would rather have let them roam around out in the pasture and free range, and I think they would have been happier that way anyway. So probably in a couple years we'll get some more pigs. We won't go every year, but we'll line the pasture with this electric fencing. I think the plan is actually to get a couple head of beef cattle, and so we'll line it with the electric for that anyway. But the pigs need one that's lower. They can't just deal with the medium height like a cow, or they'll just burrow underneath it. So that'll be the plan next. For water, let's see if I can turn this. You can see that pipe there. It was originally placed in a better spot, but once we did the electric, so at the bottom of that, they turn it every day, but at the bottom of there's some nipples and they learn to use those really quickly. They just suck on those nipples and the water comes out. In fact, in the summer when it was hot, they would bite on the nipple and just let the water flow until they built themselves a little pond to roll around in. So they created their own mud hole. And I found a vertical what you would call it, stopper that would go in the pipe, and whenever the water would fill up, it would a valve. It would stop the water. You know, usually a float valve is on an arm, but I found a vertical one that would go right in a pipe on Amazon, and it worked great. So in the summer when the pigs were using a lot of water because it was hot, and they were also self-filling up their own little water hole, that I never had to worry about them running out. I didn't have to worry about coming out here to refill it or it being overfilled, because the valve would shut it off. In fact, they probably overused the valve. So they've grown, they're ready. Actually, tomorrow is slaughter day. We're taking them to the butcher tomorrow, so that was another interesting ordeal, and I'll try to film some of that tomorrow. Like I said, we're brand new to this. We're just getting the right equipment and everything. So we're borrowing a trailer. A friend has an old horse trailer, and we're just going to transport them in that. Figure that's easier than trying to build something. And then there's some electric hookups I got to work out. It's the wrong between my truck and the trailer. They don't match, so I have to go to a trailer store on Monday to try to hook that up, so don't get pulled over or hit because I don't have a brake light. But that's the next challenge, is building not really a chute, but a way to contain them and guide them into the trailer. So I've got that started. It's not completely finished, so I'll show you that right now. You may be able to see I threw a bunch of apples in there. So where we live, there are a ton of apple orchards, and everyone's got an apple tree. In fact, to the point where most of them just get wasted because there's so many. So we just went around to friends from church and helped them by picking up apples. And our pigs love them, and we've been feeding them a lot of apples, especially these last probably 3 weeks. And hopefully that helps the meat taste good as well. I'll show you more tomorrow here, but essentially I don't want to make a permanent structure to get into this trailer, because if we keep them out in the pen in the future, we'll have to build something then that's a little more permanent. So right now I'm just trying to build it so that they don't get away when I'm getting them in the trailer. So Monday I'll fix up this ramp so it's not just these, it'll have a piece of plywood over the top of it. But essentially it guides them out the door over here and around, and they should be hungry enough to go into the trailer. So I'll film a little bit more tomorrow as the adventures of getting them into the trailer. Alright, so I put some food up at the top of the ramp, and as soon as the black pigs recognized that there was food there, no problem, they went right up the ramp. I had their normal feed plus some apples, so they were very happy to go up into the trailer to keep eating. There was a bunch of new grass and new dirt that they were interested as well, so it was those apples I think that got them up. But I kept having a problem. I had built the ramp to keep the pigs in, but not to keep the dog out. And the dog kept coming in and getting in the face of the pigs, and then they were snapping at the dog. So that was an added complication. Next time I'll pen the dog up. But anyway, the brown pig was the one that did not want to go in. He just did not like that ramp. I could get him to go up and eat some apples at the top of the ramp, but he would not get all 4 legs on the ramp no matter what I did. So that was a major fail. It wasn't until I dropped the ramp that it actually worked.
So I figured out that the pig I was having the trouble with, the brown one, just didn't like the ramp. It was too unsteady. The two black ones had no problem going in, but the brown one wasn't having it. So I dropped the ramp and just put some blocks there to make it an easy step, and he went right in 2 seconds. And I even missed putting it on film because I just wanted to test it first, and then I was going to turn on the recording, and he was already in. So I guess I should have figured that out before wrestling with him for half an hour. You can see the trailer rocking. I think they're figuring out they're not in Kansas anymore. But they're in, so we're ready to hook up a truck and go. Alright, here they are in the trailer, happily eating away. They were hungry since I didn't feed them a lot this morning, so that's good. So this afternoon we'll hook up the trailer and head off to the butcher, get them slaughtered. It'll be sad to not have them here anymore, but that's what they were raised for, and I'm excited to have the meat. Great meat that I know where it came from, and I know the pigs were well taken care of. And it was cool to watch them grow. Like I said in the beginning, this was not a how-to or an instructional video by any means. I am not a professional. This was my first experience, so I just wanted to share some of the things that I learned. I'm sure you have a lot of pointers you could help me with. If you'd like to leave them in the comments, I'd appreciate it. In the end, everything worked out. They're healthy, they're happy, and I'll be happy when I get the meat back from the butcher. So next time I'll do a lot of things different, and it'll make it a lot easier on me. But the only way to learn is by trying and doing. And that's what we did. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and hit the alert button so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. And I hope to catch you next time on the Green Workbench.